So I figured I'd turn on my camera. Here I am at Swope Park in Concord, south of where I live. There's a few cars in the parking lot. It's what, Tuesday? Beautiful day out, though of course it's cold. That means a lot less in the winter time, to a certain degree. I've got on like long johns and sweatpants, and then the same, like I've got a really nice, I don't want to call it unique, but there's only one manufacturer that really sells these kind of things, and it's not in the United States, so you have to get them imported. But the idea here is that you've got an underlayer that is a mesh, right? It's composed of a bunch of holes, and I suppose I can show that. It looks like this. They sell two kinds, right? They sell a merino wool and they sell a synthetic. I picked up the synthetic because, why would I want merino? Well, it's good at keeping the stank off, but it's more expensive and less durable. So I was like, it's not like I'm through hiking and can't wash my clothes. So I picked it up and I love the thing. So long as it's got something out on the outside to keep the air in, it does a great job of insulating. And so what I've got on is that as a base layer. Well, a wife beater, then that, and then another like longer sleeve shirt. The idea being that I don't need much beyond that, and I can peel off layers if I want. I probably won't overheat here. Usually, I put a vest on under this shell. The shell performed well for me yesterday. I was out walking through these briars. And it just kind of shrugged them off. Whereas my pants, on the other hand, saw a lot more action, but also are not made of quite the durable material that this jacket is. The jacket itself, surprisingly enough, has got another layer of mesh on the interior. That can collect a little moisture. I don't feel it when I'm not hiking, but when I take it off, all that wicking went somewhere. Now usually I've got an insulated vest on underneath it. I didn't put that on today. So I have it with me. It's under the lid of my pack. So easily accessible. It's been a while since I've been on this trail. So we've got this vista. The trail goes up pretty steeply, I'd say. This is kind of like the trail that goes around the exterior. And if you want to get up to the summit where, you know, they cut some trees, put a bench and a vista, you can do that. I usually do. But I don't tend to go up this road here. There's actually another vista. Well, I suppose two more. One that is, as you go around, there'll be a trail that leads up to it from the other side. And on that trail, there's a little bench that gives you a crappy little vista overlooking the mountains, looking that way. But as you go around, and even from that vista, the trail extends in this direction. And if I were to have taken a different turn early on, it would have brought me more directly to the best vista here, which overlooks a reservoir. It's nice. They both accommodate hammocks really well. Actually, this vista, now I think I'm conflating this vista with another. This one, I like this one, in that it's just got a single little chair, well, bench, and then in that area it's got an awesome spot for my hammock. And the problem with that is it's so close to the vista that, I don't know, people come and go. I better take my gloves off. Also note, when you use your poles in the proper way, they just stay on your wrists. as opposed to having to dick around with them. But whenever you do that, notice those are pretty far from where I want them to be. I want them to be closer to that position, so I'm going to pull down, kind of bring myself up. Like we've got some wood stacked right here. This tree must have fallen and been cut, I don't know when. It's like a while ago. This tree. In fact, the last time I was on this trail, so, I don't know, I guess it was 2004, I started listening to audiobooks. At the time, I was driving 57 miles each way to work. And while I would leave early in the morning to avoid traffic, I ended up getting caught up in the afternoons. And so it would take me quite a while. I spent a lot of time on the road, let's put it that way. And so, you know, music wears thin, talk radio wears thin. And at the time, Audible was an independent read, not owned by Amazon outfit. But they still had the books. And so I started listening to audiobooks. And because I got into audiobooks and now have a, frankly, enormous collection, as over the years I've purchased them. Because Audible, here we go. Audible isn't like Netflix or Kindle Unlimited. You buy the books and you keep them regardless of whether you subscribe. And so, as 20 years have passed and I accumulate a lot of books a year, you know, the smart way to use Audible is through a yearly subscription. I need to take this off. I'm going to take my jacket off.